Okay, I think we're recording. I have my laptop turned around so where I can actually see the screen as a monitor. And I did do this already, this Joe Pipe Heater Part 4, but it didn't upload to YouTube, so I'm having to do it over. So compared to Part 3, you can see where I've done the modifications. This is the steam chamber that I was talking about. It could be operated in the horizontal or the vertical position, and so you basically have your 1.5-inch Joe pipe. You can see where the pipe is going to be red on the inside. So this here, I'm putting about a 4 by 8 inch schedule 40 sleeve over top, and here I have a this is made for the horizontal, where like the steam coming out. So you actually fill this full of water. This is your water line, and you're creating your steam. Your steam is coming out. 1 pound of water. If I'm using the flame, I've done tests using the flame before. 1 pound of water, I was able to convert it into a steam in under 4 minutes. And so the flame, I would say, has a little more potential than the heat of the pipe. I'm just guessing about 60% on the flame, about 40% on the pipe, or it could be 55, 45, but it's comparable. But if you got already got a reaction going, this whole pipe, in 1.5 by 16-inch steel pipe, like a Schedule 40 pipe, you'd be just red, orange hot. I mean, you'd take the flesh off your hands if you touched it. So you know the outside of the pipe is at least 1100 degrees or more, and the inside of the pipe there with flame it's around about 2200, and the exhaust coming out of the end is about 2000 degrees. So you got an extreme amount of heat for very little bit of fuel. And anyway, so this hot water system here, I just want to generate a little bit of steam pressure, or maybe low-level superheated steam, between 3 to 5 pounds at whatever temperature it's going to come out. This steam is going to be fairly hot. If you hold back the pressure, it's probably going to be 5 pounds pressure. It could probably heat it up to above 300 degrees, 350 degrees, or something like that. So it's going to be low pressure steam, and not to the critical state, but it's going to be enough where I can use the steam as a driver to go into this. This would be a Schedule 40 steel containment, and you got it filled with gas, and your steam is coming in, and you're superheating your gas, where the steam is agitating the gas, and it's coming out, and it's forming a gas and steam distillate, or emulsion mix. I'm not sure. One of the things I'm not sure about is if the steam is superheated, whether the carbon in the gasoline is going to pull out pull the nitrogen or the hydrogen out of the steam, and freeing up the oxygen in the steam. I don't know. I don't want that to happen. And the purpose for using the steam as a driver is to produce a vapor fuel that has no oxygen in it. It's okay if it's right at the verge of being converted into oxygen, but you don't want no trace of oxygen in it. And so you're actually bringing it here, and you're using this as an auxiliary fuel to replace your propane. I put the propane there, so you start it up on propane to make your steam. You use your steam to make your auxiliary fuel, and you bring your auxiliary fuel in front of the swirl device, because you want to be able to control the reaction of the fuel and air. And so once you introduce your auxiliary fuel, you're going to get very bright blue coming out of the end. But as you turn down your propane, it's going to cause the flame produced by the gas and the steam to pop back in to form a level 3 reaction. So this is going to be hot, and instead of running on propane, now you're running on your own gas. Propane on this setup here, you could probably run for about 25 cents an hour. And you know, this will heat up enough hot water. If you make this into a larger plenum, where you could actually heat a house between hang on. I have to turn my phone off. Just a sec. I was expecting a call, but I need to get this done. I'll give it. I'll give him a call back. So anyway, it would be possible. You know, I've already done this, where in this setup here, you could run this Joe pipe on about 2 ounces of propane. You're not going to be going full out, but you're not going to have to. So you're just using maybe 2 ounces of propane at about works out to about 25 cents an hour. And so you're using that to create the steam, to create your auxiliary fuel, as you can probably reduce your price from 25 cents an hour to about 10 cents an hour. Now this could be waste oil, it could be anything like that. So your superheated steam goes through and it creates a mixture of steam or water and carbon. So you're creating a hydrocarbon. Steam goes in and you're creating a hydrocarbon coming out, and so that's going to replace your propane. So now you're running cheaper, okay, and your efficiency of your hydrocarbon water gas is going to be comparable to your propane, might even be more. And at that point, I like to use the nitric oxide. I have the nitric oxide or the UV box on the auxiliary fuel line. I wanted to actually put it in the air. So if you just take this here, put it over here, and so when you actually have a level 3 from your auxiliary fuel, at that point you turn on your UV, and that doubles the that reacts with the nitrogen. You got 80% nitrogen, whatever, 14% oxygen in the air that we breathe. So when you add UV at about 240 nanometers as a frequency, it doubles, reacts with the nitrogen and oxygen mix to double the weight of the oxygen. So instead of 14% oxygen in your air, you're now doubling it up to about 28% or higher. So that'd be like adding free oxygen to the system. So this increasing the oxygen content in the air may trip the water, may cause, you already got an implosion flame, but adding the extra oxygen, it's going to increase the potential of the implosion reaction to where it might trip it in or condense it into a plasma. Now, I've seen this happen before. Now, I've seen many times where this has happened with Inconel. It's happened with titanium, where I saw when I added extra air or tripped it at using maybe extra oxygen, where it caused the heat energy of the flame in here to get condense into electrical, where you're squeezing the flame and so tight that it compresses into electrical arc, and the arc actually shears off the pipe like it's just incredible. But I've seen many manifestations of heat into plasma, not just arcing where it cuts off the pipe. I've seen it where the fire inside condensed into a pinpoint of light. I've seen it where the pipe itself became superconductive, or it went way higher than the physical melting point of the material. I've seen titanium go to maybe 5,000–6,000 degrees without melting. And I've seen copper go superconductive where it melted titanium. So I've seen a lot of things that is not talked about in conventional science. And when it comes to converting matter from the third state into the fourth state, there's really not much out there. And I don't see anyone else on YouTube actually doing experiments anywhere near this classification. Most people are messing around with our third state matter, but they're not converting matter into the fourth state. And when you do that, when you the same energy in the third state of matter, when it's converted into the fourth state, it's going to release many times more energy, because you're freeing up the atoms within the fuel or the material. I think this is all I want to talk about. So I'm kind of setting a premise here about generating your own fuel, and also you can expand on the Joe Pipe here. This could be, if you use this could actually be like a 5-gallon pail. So if you took a 5-gallon plastic pail and you put this through the base of the pail, and you insulated the pail end to help hold the heat, you could keep that 5 gallons of water hot. You could have it connected as a hot water source connected to a truck radiator, like a big large truck radiator out of a Mack truck or something like that, and so you got your water here circulating into your radiator here at the cost of about 2 ounces of propane per hour. And that's and I've seen these systems before, hot water systems that you use where you make a wood boiler and you bring in your 2-inch lines, water lines, to hook to a rad, and I've seen where this was effective to where it was able to heat a home in Ontario in the winter months. And this one home that I was in, that was 1,500 feet per floor, and that truck rad that was inserted into the plenum of the furnace, run on that had a supply of hot water, circulating hot water through it, that heated both the main and the upper floors, 3,000 square feet. I'm doing the same thing with 2 ounces of propane per hour. As far as, if you got your boiler here and you got your radiator here, you don't have to make such a large demand or a volume of hot water. So why not do it? So you can make a portable box system that you could carry, that you could put into any kind of house, and you could have space heating, or you could take that heat and route it into a plenum into your furnace. So if the power goes out, you got a backup system, and you could actually use this to make a circulating hot water system to a radiator, and also to make personal hot water, everything in the same operation. And at the same time, you're only drawing off 1,000 degrees of the heat of the pipe. You still got 1,000 degrees that's still untapped. So there's a long ways that you can go with this, and especially you guys over in Europe. I'm hoping that you'll catch on to this, because it doesn't matter if we're going to see the price of fuel go up, right? There's going to be a stranglehold on the fuel. They're going to try to jack fuel up by 30%, 40%, 50%. Fuel's going to go into hyperinflation. But taking the Joe Pipe technology and running with it and perfecting it, you have the time to put it to the test and work out the bugs. You're going to have a heating system for space heat and hot water and steam that's going to keep up to any kind of inflationary rise in fuel. It's just a matter of going with this. I know God has showed me this. 10 years ago, I had a dream. In this dream, I saw a pipe. It wasn't a pipe like this, but it was a small pipe the size of a cigar. And in the pipe, I saw a flame that had special resonant characteristics. And 3 months later, in the summer of 2004 in Nanaimo, I actually came across it. It was just really incredible. Most knowledge that we have inside the box, if you got a box here, most knowledge inside the box represents less than 10%. The majority of knowledge that exists outside the box of conventional science. So when you go to university and all that, you're only taught what's inside the box. You're not taught to be a free thinker. You're only taught what other people already know. So that's why we need inventors, because they're free thinkers. People with genuine insight, connection to the Lord, to heavenly realms where you can learn to really create. Because when you create good things, that inspiration is coming from the Holy Spirit. It's not coming from the pit. And we're going to need people like that. God has promised that. God showed Neville Johnson. I've been listening to his tapes. Phenomenal teacher. And recently, the Lord took him to heaven, and He showed him that this is the time that God's going to raise up a Joseph company across the earth, and they're the ones that's going to be responsible for many new technologies that's going to make oil a thing of the past. If America chooses the right way to back Israel, for not to divide Jerusalem, then God's going to bless America and make her the head and not the tail. But if she goes the other way, then we're coming into some hard times. But regardless, the Joseph Company is going to stand to their feet soon, and they're going to stand up, and they're going to have technologies that's going to make it possible for the church to be able to go through the time of tribulation, because I believe that we are going through tribulation. The church is, their robes are filthy. They're not, and the Lord cannot take us home, cannot take the bride home until first the bride has been perfected and made herself ready, right? And so Scripture teaches fairly clearly that the Lord will not return for His bride until she's without spot and wrinkle. And right now that's not the case. The bride's in the worst possible state right now. Okay, that's it. I think I'm going to about 15 minutes. I better cut her here.